like, oh goddamn, that's the bitch that I want. Oh goddamn, diamonds all in my front. Like 7 a.m, I was fucking your love. 11 a.m, so that bitch right to brunch. Like, oh goddamn, that's the bitch that I want.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Siege AJ back again with another video. And in today's video, I wanted to do something a little bit different, something a little bit unique. So we're going to be doing a commentary over a 16 kill duos solo queuing game. Basically just going to be breaking down some decision making skills, how to solo queue, all of that good stuff. So see if you guys can actually get something that's actually going to help you guys along your Apex Legends journey inside of this video. With that being said, go ahead and give this video a like, help support my channel by giving me a subscribe. Be duly appreciated, man. And with that being said, let's go ahead and let's hop into the commentary. Alright guys, so before we go ahead and hop into any of the actual juicy gameplay, there's actually 2 tips that I actually have that you can actually utilize before you even actually land. And the first tip is to always drop hot. Okay, always land where the most enemy squads are. Never be the guy to land like way off in the map and loot for like 10-15 minutes just to go off and then die on the first squad engagement that you actually have. And the reason being is because when you drop hot, you're actually getting used to fighting multiple squads at once. You're getting used to the hecticness of trying to learn how to play solo. And it can actually be really frustrating at first, but don't get discouraged. I promise you, dropping hot is one of the key things to actually helping you grow and get better at soloing. And then the second tip is to actually look around your vicinity, see who's all landing beside you. I see a lot of players, they just kind of drop and just land at any building without looking at how many teams are landing in their area or anything like that. So in this case, in the beginning of the game, you can see over here is that, whoops, drew that a little bit wrong. You can see I have just a couple squads. I've got a team over here. I've got a team over here. And then I've got a team way over here. So you can see I have a couple of teams, like 3 teams beside me. And so before I land, I'm consciously aware of that. So let's go ahead and let's actually go ahead and get into this footage a little bit. So I'm landing and I'm aware that there's going to be a team landing somewhere in that area. There's going to be around 3 to 4 teams in that area. And I'm going to climb up the wall here. One of the tips that you have is unpredictability. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then I'm going to kind of remain height up here. I'm doing a lot of damage, but there's no point on pushing anyone. I don't really know who's who and how many teams there are. So I'm just going to kind of remain height. Managed to get the knock, but I actually run out of ammo here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a weapon that I can pick up. Instead of completely disengaging, I just weapon swap here and find something that has some ammunition in it. Gonna play with the doors a little bit. The Wraith almost fried me, but you can see that you don't always have to fully disengage if you run out of ammo. You can weapon swap, and just to kind of help you out a little bit. So I'm gonna throw down the jump pad, and I'm basically gonna fully disengage and basically reset with the Phoenix kit here, just because I know that there's gonna be third parties and things like that coming in. And so I want to go ahead and disengage. And that's why it's super awesome playing with legends that can, like, people like Octane, Wraith, Pathfinder, Valorant, that can disengage out of situations really quickly. That have those cues that can really get you out of anything and get you a far distance from any enemy teams. And so again, I'm going to keep playing this height. I'm just going to keep playing this balcony here. We got plenty of cover, plenty of height to work with. And this is unpredictability, which is the next tip I'm actually going to have for you guys. And I want you guys to watch what happens on this clip here, and we're going to actually talk a little bit about it. So let's see what happens. Get the knock. Okay, so we're gonna actually fast forward that footage, or excuse me, rewind that footage. And this is what I mean by being unpredictable, having unpredictability, which you'll see here is that I'm gonna basically change my angle. I'm gonna change where I come from. So with this first engagement here, and we'll actually break this down, is you can see I have an enemy who's right over here. And after I get this knock on this Valorant, who's kind of just sitting over here in the corner, the other teammate is going to come over here through the staircase, right? And he's going to fully expect me to probably play cover behind these bushes over here, right? That's what he's expecting, or probably for me to play cover over here somewhere, or crouch behind here or something like that. But he's basically expecting me to be within this vicinity. What's going to end up happening is, because you want to constantly be unpredictable in Apex Legends, I actually end up going all the way around after I get the knock. And you'll see in the clip that he completely has his back turned. He's not even facing me when I actually come towards him. And so let's go ahead and let's watch how this plays out. So I get the knock, and I took no damage. And it doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter how much damage you take or how little damage you take. Always be unpredictable. So as soon as I get the knock, right, I'm going to go all the way around, and I'm going to hit pause frame here. And you'll see when I hit pause right here, the Revenant, he's not even looking at me. His back is completely turned. His crosshairs are completely facing over here from where we were before, because that's where he's expecting me to be. He's expecting me to be over there, right? So we go all the way around the building, and his back is turned. Now, granted, I could have stayed over there. I mean, I had full health, right? Initially, I took no damage at all from that engagement from the Valorant, and I could have stayed over there. But again, it's a practice that you want to do. Remain unpredictable on your opponents, and you'll always catch them off guard and have the upper hand when it comes to your engagements. And then the second part is constantly playing cover. Constantly playing cover. So you can see right there, I utilize that corner here. It's a little bit too far. Let's see. You can see there, I utilized that corner. So you're going to see right here, I'm going to utilize this corner over here. Right over here, I'm going to utilize this. And just watch how I play with it the whole time, right? Take as little damage as you can. I'm going to utilize this corner. Just keep utilizing it. And keep peeking it. And so those are kind of the two tips I have right there off that engagement is utilizing cover and being unpredictable. And doing those two things, even if you took little to no damage at all, you want it to become muscle memory for you to be unpredictable and utilize cover. Get the knock. And you can see here, I try to jump over the porch. This right here was an interesting engagement because this team tried to basically full send me, right? And I didn't actually expect it to actually go that way. So we'll go back a little bit. So initially, actually, after I got the knock, right here, I get the knock, the Loba teleports like right on top of me. I didn't think that was going to happen. And so instantly I see that I've taken too much damage, right? Over here. I've taken too much damage, and I want to disengage and try and get to a door over here and try and play with these doors and get this battery off. And that's basically what I did. I almost actually failed and blundered, because you'll see what's going to happen over here. I try to pop the battery. And I end up trying to jump over that balcony there. And it doesn't let me jump over the balcony. And what I actually end up doing is I actually play with this cover here. And you'll see here, I'm going to play with this little piece of cover. And I'm going to utilize this cover. Again, poking corners, peeking corners constantly. I'm going to utilize this corner and make sure I take as little damage as I can to make sure I'm the person who wins this engagement. Because I actually missed quite a few shots. I actually missed quite a few shots on the Loba. So let's go ahead and let this play. Playing with that pillar, that cover, and then we kill him. And you can see here that initially the Loba was the person that actually did a lot of damage here. Like you can see, I've literally got half a bar of health left, but because I utilized that cover, it allowed me to win that engagement. So a lot of Apex Legends is about, most of your engagements that you're going to have are going to be about you doing things that are smarter than your opponent, being unpredictable, and using anything you can to get the upper hand over them. Utilizing cover, utilizing height, being unpredictable. So this way you always have the advantage over your enemy squad. Do some damage. So with that, with this engagement over here, and this is kind of important, is I do some damage over here. What was going on through my head was that after I did the damage, I'm playing duos. I'm solo queuing duos right now, so I see that there's one guy over here. It's him, and his teammate could be somewhere in this room with him, somewhere in this room over here with him, or he's somewhere inside of this building right now. So my whole plan was to go and basically throw down my Octane jump pad right here, jump pad up, and then take height and land right here. Right, that was my plan. But again, things don't always go as planned. So it turns out there was actually a separate, entirely different squad that I was obviously unaware of. And so I had to completely disengage and end up actually jump padding all the way to the left side of the map because, yeah, I was gonna get fried. So yeah, knowing when to disengage, knowing when to think swiftly. So I recognize that, and then I end up jumping off somewhere to the side and get a little bit of cover and recognize that there's actually two teams existing over here. So I recognize that they're fighting each other. I'm instantly going to push. And again, being unpredictable, instead of going through the front door, I'm going to go at the top through the staircase entry. Going to do some good damage on both of them. And at this point, I'm ready to full push. They've got multiple teams fighting each other. And again, constantly being unpredictable. Notice how I'm changing directions, going through the back staircase. And he's not even expecting that. Right, and again, right, I'm going through the opposite staircase now, right? I went through the front, now I'm going to go through the back. I'm never going through the same entry point. If I have another entry point, I'm going to take that one. So I take the jump pad here. This Wraith literally vanishes. No idea where she went. It's just a Bloodhound now. Try to stem out and avoid the grenade. Couldn't quite make that happen. And this guy has a rampage. He's just absolutely just frying me. So he's making it really difficult on my end. This dude with the rampage is just destroying me. At that point, I'm basically all out of heals. I've got one shield cell in my inventory. I don't want to full send them. I just don't have the heals for it or the ammunition. You can see I've only got 9 bullets left on my reload, and I've only got 1 shield cell. So at that point, I decide to go back to those loot boxes and see if I can go grab something, a shield swap, and the Wraith ends up being back over there. So again, using different entry points, right? I dropped all the way below instead of going face forward. And the Wraith ends up disengaging, so she's no problem to worry about. Alright, so actually one thing I did also want to take time to actually talk about a little bit is I actually ended up switching over from my red Evo to the gold. Now, a lot of people talk about, you know, which one is better, gold Evo shield or red Evo. Most people think that the red Evo is better just because of that extra 25 damage that it gives you on your shields. And it is. The red Evo, under normal circumstances, is a much better Evo shield. When I am playing solos, I do actually prefer the gold Evo. And the reason why I prefer the gold Evo when I'm playing solo is because it's so much easier to heal. It heals half of your health each shield cell you use, as well as the syringes. And it's just so easy to heal really quickly, and then engage and disengage. And so I do prefer using the gold Evo shield over the red Evo shield when I'm solo queuing. Again, being unpredictable, I'm going to take the back door instead of the front. We get the elimination. Being unpredictable, constantly swapping back and forth. Then I'm going to go back to the back door again, right? Constantly being unpredictable. Changing your entry points, climbing up walls, going through the back door, shooting through the windows. Whatever you can do to make them have to think one step ahead. So I'm fully aware I have a team behind me in that building, and then I have this one over here. I end up getting the knock on the Bangalore. I'm still aware I have a team behind me, and I'm basically going to full send this team right here. Now, one thing I actually wanted to point out was that this was actually a bad decision on my part, and let's go ahead and actually break it down. And this is something that you actually shouldn't do. So what's going to end up happening is I'm aware that I have a team in this building over here, right? I was fighting a team over here in this building earlier, and then after that, I also have that team behind me as well, which is where the Bangalore is. So I'm aware that I have a team behind me, so I have to choose which engagement I want to fight. I'm kind of sandwiched between both of them now. And let's go ahead and break this down. So I get the knock on the Bangalore, and this is where it's a very terrible decision, and what I would not advise doing is I just full send this team right here. And I literally land with no cover. I have nothing to even use within this vicinity. On top of me not only having cover, she is going to have height up here, right? So they're going to have height up here. So she literally has the perfect angle to literally just beam me from having height and me having no cover, right? At best, I could actually play cover behind the Bangalore and kind of use her as a shield. But I mean, still, like, this is just a really bad look, and I would not do this. This was actually a bad decision on my part. But because I have a lot better aim than the average player, it ended up actually fixing my mistake. Because under normal circumstances, you would probably just get lasered. And that's why the other tip that I actually have when it comes to solo queuing is just hit your shots. Just have better aim. Practice on your aim. Because what's going to happen is that when you have good aim, it's actually going to fix a lot of mistakes that you're going to make while solo queuing. There's going to be a lot of times we're going to make mistakes. Pro players make mistakes all the time. You'll see people like Asu, It's Timmy, things like that make really bad mistakes. But because their aim is far superior, they're able to quickly fix that mistake and end up winning that engagement. And that's what kind of happens here. I end up just beaming them, and rather than me getting beamed because they have height, the player had to fully disengage. So we're on our next engagement. We got this Gibraltar coming up the zip line. He's going to throw his ult down. Just terrible move. I have so much space to work with. So much cover to work with here. We are on the last team, so I'm right. You always assume that when you have one more team, just assume that it's going to be a full team. So that's kind of what I'm assuming that I'm going to get here. I wasn't really keeping track of squads while I was playing this game, so always make the assumption that you're fighting a full squad. So we get the first knock. I'm playing duos, so we only have one more to go. And it's literally going to be that same Wraith from the beginning of the game. And I want you guys to notice here that I'm not going to push this Wraith this whole time, right? This Wraith is kind of cornered inside of this house. I'm not going to push this Wraith. I have perfect height on top of this building. There's no need for me to jeopardize the game by trying to be overly aggressive and like try and kick down the door and have a potential chance of the Wraith having like a Peacekeeper or a Mastiff or me just getting one clip by a R99. Just hold height. I obviously have the ring, and just go ahead and secure the W. There's no need to get overly aggressive, overly flashy. Majority of what you're doing is going to be, like I said, coming from unpredictability and playing things like height, playing things like cover, being passive aggressive with your cover, and that's what I'm basically going to do towards the end of the game. Even though I could obviously just push the Wraith, and I'm sure I could easily just, one clipper, that's not what I'm going to do, right? I'm just going to keep holding height and keep holding ring, and then basically just wrap up the game that way. And so she's going to basically phase over to the other building, and I'm going to go ahead and make a rotation all the way to the final ring. And I'm basically just going to hold height on top of this mountain until the Wraith is ready to come outside. No need for me to be overly aggressive and push her. Just let the ring close on her and then finish her off easy. And so the last ring basically is going to start closing. Obviously, the Wraith is inside of the building. That Wraith, she's got nowhere to go. I'm still maintaining my height, right? And she's over here trying to throw sky nades. And you can even see, and one thing I actually wanted to point out is that even right there, like turns out she actually did have a Peacekeeper. So imagine if I were to go down there and kick down the door and be overly aggressive, and I've got my flatline, right, and my alternator, and the Wraith, she has a Peacekeeper. I might have, gotten knocked in 2 shots and ended up losing the game. So be unpredictable, hold your height, use the cover, and just play it smart. No need to be overly aggressive, and then I just end up finishing her off nice and easy. Just to kind of summarize the tips that we went over, the first one is during your landing, right? When you are dropping, always drop hot. Always drop at a hot zone. Always drop where all the teams are landing. There's no need to be afraid of, getting knocked and then getting killed, right? You'll get sent back to the lobby and then you can start a new game. And then the other tip is being unpredictable. This is by far one of the most important tips, is being unpredictable. Climbing up the side of the building, right? Going through the back door, going through the staircase. If you're somebody like Pathfinder or Valorant or Loba, where you can access different types of spots in certain buildings where other legends can't access, utilizing that, right? Being unpredictable. And then the other tip is just having good aim. Right, having good aim, because again, having good aim is going to fix a lot of bad decisions that you make, and bad decisions are honestly inevitable in this game. You're never going to have like a perfect game where you don't make a bad decision, but because you have just overall better aim than your enemy squad, you'll usually win that engagement and be able to fix any mistakes that you make. And then the last tip that I had for you guys in this video was utilizing your cover. I see a lot of players just running out in the open. They'll knock a shield, right? They'll go up and knock somebody's shield and just go full send the whole team. Don't do that. Utilize your cover. Play passive aggressive. Any cover that you have, even if it's like we saw earlier in the clip, that little piece of a pillar that I had to work with, utilizing any cover that you have, doors, rocks, pillars, anything that you can kind of play around with to take the least amount of damage as possible. So to kind of summarize all the tips all together, it basically just means outsmart your opponent. Don't try to outskill them, try to outsmart them. The only time you should ever try to outskill your opponent is when you've made a mistake and you have to use, your skills to basically try and fix your mistake, so this way you can win that engagement. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this, kind of discussing how to get better at solo queuing, aim, things like that. I do have an aim tutorial out. If you guys want to go check that out, I'll have the link just at the top left corner of the screen there. And with that being said, CZAJ out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.